Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the module on money and meaning. And today, as you can see, I have a very special guest with me. I'm going to introduce her in just a moment, but we are going to be talking about making money your ally. And I have, like I said, special guest Ann Sagendorph-Moon. So welcome.
I
So grateful that you said yes to doing this with me. We
oh
met
yeah.
we met in a really cool group based on the work of Tosha Silver, who wrote the book "It's Not Your Money," amongst other books. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're going to talk about a lot of juicy stuff today, but before I dive in, I just want to just tell everybody a little bit about you. Okay, so Anne is a business strategist, color stylist, pendulum healer, Reiki master, and sound healer devoted to helping women rise above the noise and build radiant lives rooted in soul and strategy. She's the visionary behind Living Above the Turbulence, love the name, and which is a transformative philosophy for creating peace, prosperity, and alignment in uncertain times. Hello. And as founder of the Way of Wealth and Wellness, Anne offers a non traditional approach to business mentorship that blends energy work, personal style, and strategic guidance because thriving starts from within. I love that. With more than 2 decades of experience in business, color analysis, Reiki, pendulum healing, and sound therapy, Anne empowers women to lead with resonance, and a few men, I hope, through.
Sounds good.
And
Because
yeah,
you know, I don't. Yeah, just for all the people listening,
yes,
I don't go around thinking that's me.
it's it's pretty impressive. I was like reading that, and then when we spoke before, I was like, you have like Queen of Abundance energy. That's what came up for me.
Really funny is, and I think it's really important for people to hear this. And I never feel like I have it all together.
hmm
Okay,
Yeah,
go.
absolutely. So, today we're going to be talking about money and meaning and making money your ally. And I know that you have a very abundant life that you love, but I was wondering, was life always like that for you, or was there a turning point? I'd love to know a bit about your story.
Well, just briefly, the thing I always start with is that when I was 9 years old in Lexington, Kentucky, of all
Mm,
places,
mm,
my dad and I were walking down the street and in front of a bank, and he said, "Save your money." And I remember it like it was yesterday.
wow.
And so very good saver. But he did it from a place of fear.
Mm,
And so I used to have, I live in Oakland, so it's right across from San Francisco. And the joke I used to have was that I would end up in the Tenderloin, which is a not great place in San Francisco, with tuna fish in my tennis shoes. So,
mm.
so I used to be scared all the time.
Wow.
And you asked me what changed it for me.
Yeah. Did you have a turning point? Because I mean, yeah, a lot of people can relate to that fear of like, I'm going to end up like that, or worried that they're going to end up like that. Yeah.
Yeah. What I would say is I've done so much inner work on this. I mean,
Mm,
to tell people, oh, I had a turning point, sometimes I think social media has done us a disservice
mm,
because people look like, oh, yeah, and everything's great. That is not always true. And, you just read my bio, and yet I'm moving through an evolution right now that is starting some new things about how I am and present myself because the world is different.
exactly.
So, what I would say is learning, in fact, the process I'm going to do at the end is about forgiveness. I would say that learning how to really forgive all the stories that I've had,
Mm,
and also realizing that stories are not always true
mm,
because they come from mom, dad, and all the people before then. um, but it's one thing to say, oh, it's not true. And it's another to heal that so you know that you don't have to bring it along.
right.
And and I think the other thing too is I started teaching permanent prosperity and making money your ally. And teaching that changed my life because it
Mm,
changed people's lives. That I could give that to people. So I would say those are the beginning. And
yeah,
I have to say honestly, years ago when I started making a lot of money, I hustled.
right.
I I spoke my vision and I said, I want to help people double and triple their income, and people came.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, but what I'm just curious, like, what was that within you that was like, I want to? Did you have a calling? Like, I want to help people transform their money, or?
Oh, when I was making phone calls, which people did, 20 years ago, um, the thing that I did that was most important was that instead of it being a cold call and this and that, I went into my heart and I said, how can I help you?
Mm,
Yes, I help people double and triple their income, but how can I support you? And people really were moved by that because I never have done quick sales.
yes, yes.
Never.
That's really, really beautiful, and I think that's really helpful for, the audience that's listening are airline crew who are either retired or they're
Hmm.
in the process of retiring. And I know I've spoken to many of them and they have a lot of money fears. And so in the course, there's a section on, reconnecting to other passions beyond the uniform and, maybe even monetizing those passions. But what could you say to somebody who's like, has a lot of fear about, like, this is all they've known? Some flight attendants, or pilots, especially pilots, it's all they know. And then they retire and that's it. And they're not done.
I really want to talk to this.
Okay.
I'm 79 years old.
Oh, wow.
I am always reinventing and evolving myself, always. And it has not always been fun. That's what I
Yes.
want to get across to people. Evolution, sometimes I feel like I'm starting over. Like right now, I feel like I'm starting over.
Yeah.
And yet, what I'm really doing is starting here. I used to be here. And so it's so uncomfortable. And one of my mentors years ago said, become friends with uncomfortable.
Mm.
And it's so important to do. And the other thing that I would say very briefly is if you're retiring, obviously I'm 79, I'm not retiring, but
Yes.
if you're 65 and you're retiring, know that you are moving into a place of a new kind of mastery. And
Hmm.
and that is so important for people to understand. The experience people have had doesn't matter whether they're pilots or steward people or whatever,
Yeah.
on an airplane. They have these gifts that have been given by the divine or their
Mm.
experience in the universe, whatever it is, and those are there for them to tap.
I love that. And how do they do that? I mean, I share a little bit in my course, but I'd love to know from your perspective, how do they do that?
Okay, so I'm not here to sell my products.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You want my stuff, they can come. I'm happy to. One of the things that is a foundation for working with me is called soul vision.
Okay.
And when people get their soul vision, I do it like in an hour. I am a trained psychic and all that kind of stuff, but that's not really, it's really asking the right questions.
Right.
And soul vision never changes. It evolves, but it never changes. And a lot of people don't know like what is that place inside them. And when they retire, it's so important to know that they're not here just to have worked and then they die.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
And I'm with you. Go ahead.
yeah, go on.
Well, I know I'm with you. Like, in that you said that I'm not retiring. I don't believe in retirement. It's just there's some jobs that physically, for whatever reason, they have to, or there's regulations around the world where they have to. And so, yeah.
There's always a next step for people,
Hmm.
always
Hmm.
a next place of evolving and engaging and expanding yourself.
Yes,
Always.
absolutely. I love that. So do you have any tools or tips for like to become
Do
more?
I have my I am the tool
I
queen.
know you are. I know you are. So yeah, silly question, but I was just wondering, like, what could you tell people to become more? Because I really believe in like abundance as a feeling, and I've had such struggles with abundance in the past, like just always worrying about money, and so it's constant work for me because I come from a long line of worriers, like It's just my parents always worried about money. So I have to be like, but tune into abundance. And the more I do that, the more I notice how abundant I am, how much abundance I already do have, more does seem to flow to me. I was just wondering if you could
Okay,
speak to that.
there are a couple of things that I would say. First of all, the joke when you said you're a warrior, the joke I have about myself is I'm a warrior, not a warrior. It's
Yeah.
like God. So a couple of things, and this is relatively new because we didn't have these kinds of tools a while ago. One of the things that is really important, people are always talking about the reticular activating system and if you do affirmations and all that. Let me tell you, I am the affirmation queen. I
Hmm.
used to do affirmations every night and they never worked.
Right?
Well, what was I not getting?
Yeah.
Um, Something. So, what I would say is one of the things that the reticular activating system does in the brainstem is it's a filter. So if you begin to say, I'm lucky, and you
Mm.
start to look for things that feel lucky. After a little while, the first 2 weeks I did it, it was kind of off and on. And then it became like if something that didn't feel so good came up, I would all of a sudden start to think I'm lucky. And I'm not doing this,
Mm.
by the way, folks who are watching or whatever, to spiritually bypass feelings or anything like that. But it's a really awesome practice to do.
I love that. I actually have a notes folder on my phone. Where it just says good things keep happening to me. And
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Just to
Yeah.
keep, because it's so easy to go down the other road.
And let me add one other piece to lucky.
Please.
Oftentimes we do not like the people. We see people who are lucky and they don't have character or they're not very nice people or whatever. And we don't want to be like them. So that it's important to note that you're not like them and you can still be lucky. The second thing I would
Mm.
say is that everybody preaches gratitude and it's a good thing.
Hmm.
But oftentimes people are trying to be grateful when what they feel is unlucky.
Right.
So gratitude's great. Of course, I use it, but I want people to know you have permission to be lucky in your life, and you can also feel grateful. But
Hmm.
and especially spiritual people, they often are trying to be grateful so they can manifest. When really underneath that, they do not feel lucky and they feel terrified, and that's their resonance, by the way.
Mm.
Terrified.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So how do they shift beyond terrified of making money their ally?
Well, the first thing is, when I created Making Money Your Ally so many years ago, the first thing is to realize that money is an energy of love. Now, a lot of
Mm.
people just say money's just a neutral energy.
Mm.
I like to say that money loves you,
Hmm.
but we grow up thinking that money doesn't. And here's how. When you're little, mom and dad are God because they're your survival. When you're an adult, we project money as God because it's about survival.
Right.
And so we've got all sorts of stuff about, a God. so, so to cut to the chase about that, money loves me
Mm.
and I love money.
Mm.
And money and I are friends.
Mm.
And I forgive myself for being mean to money. Oftentimes we talk about money that if we talked about a lover like that, they would walk out the door. But we don't do that.
Yeah.
I know you're on my side. I'm sorry I forgot.
Mm.
I love you so much, and I know you love me. And let's play together.
Mm. That actually makes me really emotional because I've been really bad with money in the past. And so, speaking of forgiveness, I know that you said that you have a process that you would be open to walking us through.
Yeah, in fact, I want to do a simple forgiveness process.
Okay.
I mentioned that, unforgiveness is the root of all debt.
Mm. Oh,
And
wow. Wow.
you don't have to understand it to understand it.
Yeah.
It's like holding that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do a really simple process that
Okay.
people can do along with me here.
Okay.
And just close your eyes
Okay.
and just take a breath. And take a moment to just, maybe bring your shoulders up your neck and then just let them drop so that you can just relax yourself. And take an inhale and then an exhale. And now what I want you to do is inside yourself say, I forgive you for every mistake you've ever made about money. And if you know your inner child, you can bring your inner child in and you can say, honey, you have not made any mistakes. And you're forgiven for thinking that you're not good with money. You're forgiven. I forgive you for every mean thing that you said to yourself about how you've been with money. And I forgive money and the way I've treated money so that I can have a new relationship with money for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
And as you relax into forgiveness, knowing that forgiveness is your way out, it's your way out of debt. It's your way out of hurting yourself on a daily basis. And it's the way out of worrying. You are always taken care of. Always. You are always taken care of. And the last piece of forgiveness is saying, I forgive you for every mistake you've ever made. And you are free.
Hmm.
And then you can open your eyes and notice how that feels.
Feels really good. I'm gonna come back to this and do it again. It's,
Last thing I would say about this, always you can write forgiveness. I tell my
mm,
clients that having a pen and paper is the most important thing I can give them because it takes it out of your nervous systems. I forgive you and
mm,
call yourself by name. I forgive you, Jamie, for ever making yourself wrong about money and ever
right.
love.
Yeah.
Anything you need to forgive, just write it down and put your name in there and then release it to love.
I love that because I can feel like I've gotten so much better, but I feel like I've compare myself to others, like I should be like them or I should be further ahead than I am now. And that it's kind of being mean to myself. And so I really felt that process. So thank you so much for that.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
oh my gosh. Oh my God. Well, it's already like, my God, time goes by too fast. I could talk to you for hours about this. You are such a delight. And I cannot thank you enough for saying yes to this. And I hope we get to connect again soon. And yes, so if people do want to know more about you and your work, how do they connect with you?
Ann Sagendorph-Moon, ANNESAGENDORPHMOON.com.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I know we just met, but I adore you. I really wish you so many, many blessings moving forward. You're such a light. I really appreciate you taking the time and doing that powerful process. And I'll put your link in the comments below. And please, everybody watching, share what opened up for you in the comments section. I love to read your comments. All right.
It
So,
was an honor to be here, really. You're
thank
doing
you.
great work. Thank you so
Aw,
much.
thank you,
Thank
Anne. Okay.
you.
Bye, everyone.